In part one of our Flinders Ranges series of videos, we make our way to Laura, and there we're greeted with scones on our arrival. While at Laura, we take a drive out to the Rabra Forest and have a look at a campsite that we've got booked that we're going to use next year. From Laura, we make our way to Spear Creek, and we set ourselves up there for 3 nights and travel on into Port Augusta on one of those days there and catch a steam train up to Quorn. I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. If you like the following video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, g'day everyone, and welcome to the start of another video. We're on our way to the Flinders Ranges eventually, or that's what the plan is at this stage. And we're currently at Christian Brook at the moment. We're going to stop here for lunch and get to Laura tonight. We'll spend a couple of nights in Laura, so we'll have lunch here and we'll see you on the way. It was approximately 2.5 hours from home to Laura, and with time on our side we weren't in a hurry, so with our stop at Christian Brook on the way up, it was an easy drive. Jubilee Park at Christian Brook is a very popular rest area with caravanners and alike, and with toilets and a dump point, and the location being at the end of the main street. It's very easy to work your way around Christian Brook if you need to pick up any supplies on your way through. As a lot of our travelling on this trip was going to be during a busy period for the state with the long weekend, school holidays, we had rang ahead and made a lot of pre-arranged bookings, and we couldn't get into Laura, as with most of the places that we wanted to get into. We couldn't get in there before midday, so time was definitely on our side, and after that lunch break at Christian Brook, it was on we went. After a bit of a breezy trip coming down to Laura, we were soon at the Laura Community Caravan Park in the early part of the afternoon, and once our fees were paid in the office, we soon made our way to our site and got ourselves set up. The Laura Caravan Park is one of many caravan parks around Australia that you hear about that offer these scones for their guests when they arrive, and it's a nice gesture and thank you to be able to receive these scones. And we weren't down on our site and set up for very long before we had a knock on the door, and the scones were there for us, and they were very nice and appreciated. Well, we made it to Laura. We got everything set up at the moment, and we're just going to sit around and have a relaxing afternoon. Not quite sure what this weather's going to do. We had a bit of rain last night in Adelaide and a couple of spits coming up, but it's coming up all overcast again now, so only time will tell. So we'll catch you tomorrow. The area immediately around the amenities block here at the caravan park is all lawned, and it's very good lawn at that too. And we were fortunate enough on this trip to be situated on one of those sites. During our 2 days at this caravan park, the park wasn't booked out by any means, but there was a nice steady flow of caravanners coming and going. This is a novelty idea for a fire pit. You've got the truck here that's loaded with wood, and the trailer behind it, and the trailer's the actual fire pit. Quite smart. Laura is a small rural town, and to walk down the street on this day that we were there and to smell these blossoms that were flowering in the trees there, it was a very beautiful perfume indeed. It certainly is a great time of the year with everything out in flower like it is. It was midweek when we were at Laura, and the cars were coming and going, but certainly nothing like the hustle and bustle that you get in a major city. As Laura was so close to the Warabra forest, we thought that we'd take the opportunity and go for a drive out to the forest and have a look at a booking that we've got during the middle of next year. This booking was made online and we didn't really know what the site was like in the forest, but once we got there and had a look, we realised that it was quite a large site, so we were quite pleased in the end. All of the campsites within the Warabra forest need to be booked online, and with this particular campsite that we'll be going to, it has got limited number of sites where you can camp. When we arrived at the campground and had a look at the campsites that we had booked, it sort of had a bit of a wow factor purely because of the size of them. You can't put a heap of campers on the one site, I don't believe, but it's certainly well and truly big enough for what we want with a caravan, and there'll be one other van with us on this trip that we're going to go on, so yeah, quite looking forward to it. As we headed back to the Laura Caravan Park, we called into the solo art here at Warabra. It's not the most colourful one that we've seen, but it's certainly one of the most detailed ones, and certainly a very clever person to be able to do a painting like this. Once back at the caravan park, we had a bit of a lazy afternoon. We didn't achieve very much at all. The sun was quite nice, although it was a bit warm at times, so we just moved from the shade and back into the sun as we wanted to, and sat around and relaxed. Good morning everyone from the Laura Caravan Park. We're packing up today, we're moving on. We're actually going on to Spear Creek. Caravan's alive at the moment, everyone's packing up and leaving, so once we've done that we'll get going and make our way to Spear Creek, so we'll catch you along the way. With it only being 87 kilometres from Laura to Spear Creek, and with a midday check-in, once again, time was on our side. As Australia is now enjoying its spring season, the countryside was certainly nice and green and pretty to drive through. We're here currently at Wilmington, and we only got about a half hour to go and we'll be in Spear Creek, so we're running fairly early. We can't check in until 10 o'clock. No, sorry, we can't check in until midday, and it's only 10 o'clock at the moment, so we've got a bit of time to kill. So we're here at a park and bay, or a rest area in Wilmington, just on the southern side of the town. It's a great rest area, this one at Wilmington, and it appears as though they're improving it as time's slowly progressing. They've got a caravan dump point and a water fill point and these barbecue tables, as well as public amenities. As we left Wilmington, we drove through Horrocks Pass, and that brought us out on the Port Augusta side of the ranges, and here we do this right hand turn and go down on the old Port Augusta road, and it's about 5 or 6 kilometres towards Port Augusta down that road that we do this right hand turn and over the cattle grid and on the dirt road up to Spear Creek Caravan Park. Dirt road taking you up to the caravan park was certainly in good order. It's not something that you need a four-wheel drive to tow a van up there. Well, we are all set up in the Spear Creek Caravan Park at the moment, and we're here for 3 nights, and the weather's going to be great. Beautiful blue sky today, hardly any wind, just a gentle breeze actually. So as I say, here for 3 nights. Flies are quite friendly, and tomorrow we might go into Port Augusta and catch up with the Pichi Richi Railway line steam train there. We were going to go on it, but unfortunately it was all booked out when we tried to get there, and we couldn't get a ticket. So we might follow it up tomorrow if it's a nice day, and I think it will be a nice day tomorrow. Follow it up to Quorn and film it as it goes over some of the railway bridges. So Not much happening today, we're just going to have a slow afternoon today and enjoy ourselves while we're here. During our stay here at Spear Creek Caravan Park, we're actually allocated to what they call a spacious premium campsite. Now these campsites are padded and they are very, very large indeed. There's enough room for the caravan, the awning to go out, the vehicle to be parked there, as well as this fire pit that enables us to have a campfire if we needed one. There was many of these bearded dragon lizards throughout the park, and you'd almost think you could see the same one day after day. As well as the bearded dragon lizards that we were watching each day were these rosella parrots, and as well as the rosella parrots there was also ringneck parrots throughout the park. The Spear Creek Caravan Park certainly offers a variety of camping sites for anyone that wants to go up there. There was the one that we were on, which was the big spacious one, and then you get down into the middle of the park where you've got your typical sites set up, and it's more congested, I suppose, and there's not as much room, but if people want to go to that sort of location, then it is on offer. And as well as that, they've got the outback style where you can go further up into the creek. If your style of caravan park has got lawns everywhere, swimming pools, jumping pillows and anything else that the kids might want, then Spear Creek is not the place for you. But if you want something that is sort of semi-outback and offers great camping under these ancient gum trees, then Spear Creek would be the place to go. As we were walking around, we were informed that during the next calendar year that the new amenities block was the main thing that was on the list of improvements for the park. Spear Creek do sell their own Dorper lamb meat, and we'd heard a bit about this prior to going to the caravan park on this occasion, so we thought we'd buy a pack and give it a go, and it certainly has a taste of its own. With the big number of trees that are within the caravan park area itself, there certainly is a lot of shade. The camp kitchen and the area immediately around the camp kitchen certainly offers everything that you would want, and it comes across with an old country setting, atmosphere and style. On the western side of the caravan park, up on the top of the creek bank, is these logs that the caravan park has set up as a sunset viewing platform area, and it was certainly well received and used whilst we were there for people to go up and photograph the sunset. Good morning everyone, and a bit of a wild and woolly windy night last night, but we'll roll the awning up in a moment, and then we're going to head off and have a look at the Pichi Richi steam train. We'll go into Port Augusta for a start and have a look at the train there at the railway station, and that's where it leaves from today. And then we'll follow it up to Corn as it makes its way up there along the line, and film it along the way. And it should be quite good. It's overcast at the moment, a little bit of sunshine, but that's slowly clearing, and it's supposed to be quite a warm day today, so all being well we should have a beautiful day weather-wise, so we'll catch you along the way. The first part of our trip today was only a short run from Spear Creek Caravan Park down into Port Augusta, and it was there that we pulled up at the railway station and went in to have a look at the train. As we were driving down to Port Augusta, the sky was turning blue and all the cloud was slowly disappearing, and we knew that we were going to be in for a good day. As we arrived to the Port Augusta rail terminal, we got there just in time to see a freight train pass through. It was our lucky day for sure. We thought on the off chance that maybe there was a cancellation with some passengers not being able to make it on the day. We went in and asked whether there had been the cancellations, and yes there was, so Sally and I were lucky enough that we picked up our tickets and we were going to Quorn on the steam train and not following it along the road as we first thought when we left Spear Creek this morning. To be able to walk along the platform and look at the steam loco, it certainly was an impressive sight. The Pichi Richi volunteers certainly knew what they were about, and before long they had all the passengers loaded into the respective cars that they were to go in, and we're on our way. The run from the Port Augusta train station up to the foothills of the Flinders Ranges certainly offered a different view to what you were going to get once you get up into the ranges itself. Something different, but certainly still nice. The Pichi Richi Railway system has celebrated its 50 years. And it's still amazing the number of people that you see on the side of the road that view it as it makes its way along the tracks.
No real heavy downpour. Enough to make plenty of grass grow.
As the train rolls along and crosses bridges like this one, it certainly offers for some very scenic views. It was approximately 10:30 in the morning that our train departed Port Augusta, and 2 hours later we were rolling into the train station here at Quorn. The carriage that we were on for this train ride was a former sleeper cabin used on the Ghan railway line. Everyone now had a 2-hour period that they could spend in Quorn and do as they wished before the train was leaving to go back to Port Augusta.
Yeah, I'll have to go backwards too.
Once the steam loco is separated from the carriages, it makes its way back to the Quorn workshop, and it must be there that they turn it round on the line to bring it back, ready for its return trip back to Port Augusta. With the train all set up for its return run back to Port Augusta, it was only a matter of waiting for that 2:30 time slot once the passengers were back on board, and then it would start to make its way along the track. Sally and I were talking about this, and we think that this is about the 4th time that we've actually been on the train, and twice from Quorn to Woolshed Flat and back to Quorn, once from Quorn to Stirling North, and now from Port Augusta up to Quorn. But one time we certainly got to come back and be a pedestrian on the road and view it as it's going over these bridges and perhaps photograph it there. Woolshed Flat, and that's approximately halfway between Quorn and Port Augusta. There certainly is some great scenery as the train works its way along the railway line that takes you through the Pichi Richi Pass. As the train makes its way along the tracks and it snakes and turns to go around corners, like I am now, you tend to lean outside the window just so you can get that wider angle view, and bang, there it was. I must have hit the sign with my hand, or actually it was with the corner of the camera, and this fella here, he must have heard it and he looked out the window. Could have been a lot worse than what it was, but to look back on it, it was quite funny when you think about it. 2 hours later and we're back at the Port Augusta train station after a very enjoyable day on a steam train. The walking trails here at Spear Creek take you up through the bush camping section, so on our final day here we thought we'd go up for a walk, and even though they are bush camping, a lot of these camping locations here do offer 240 volt power supply. These bush camping sites that are on offer up here, they are quite large sites. They're by no means small, and there's plenty of room to set yourself up and spread out. Most of the campsites, if not all, do have fire pits, and you can purchase wood from the Spear Creek Caravan Park should you not be able to bring your own. A lot of the campsites are labelled by name, and there's even a flushing toilet up in the middle of the creek for campers to use. As well as fire pits and the flushing toilet, there are a number of water outlets that campers can access water. As we make our way back to the main part of the caravan park, these bearded dragon lizards once again were everywhere. There are some very modern cabin accommodations on offer here for both large and small groups. Yeah, good morning everyone, and time to pack up and leave Spear Creek. We've really had a good time here. It's real country outback bush type camping, this one, and 3 nights that we've had been great. It was very good to get on the train there on Saturday. We didn't think we were going to get on, but we happened to ask and we were lucky enough to get a ticket, so we enjoyed that day outing. From here, once we get going, we go to Warren's Gorge, and that's just out of Quorn, and we're going to spend 2 nights there, so we'll catch you along the way. In our next video, we head to Warren Gorge, where we set ourselves up for a couple of nights before moving on to the Quorn Caravan Park. While in Quorn, we have a look around the town, and we marvel at some of the history that must be in the railway yard before we sit down that night and watch the silo light show. After leaving Quorn, we have a look at the old Kanika homestead ruins, and then we make our way onto Rawnsley Park Station. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of our videos, click on the subscribe button, and once you've done that, change the bell notification to all. That way every time that we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.